Hey guys, what's up? It's Nihillo back here with you. I just wanted to make this quick little video just because a lot of people hop on the stream and on the channel asking just how bears are doing right now, especially compared to other tanks, how people feel, how healers feel, how I feel. So just real quick, I just wanted to talk about this, just go over a quick summary of why I'm personally really enjoying my bear, and it's great. I don't have any overly exhaustive survivability issues. I'm spacing apart my cooldowns in an appropriate manner without feeling stressed. I'm doing a good amount of damage. This was the last one that we were doing, an incomplete 5 temple because they couldn't figure out the mechanic to soak the beams from the pillars on that one boss in there. I don't know his name, but anyway, so currently, let's just go over the whole build just real quick. I'll sum everything up as fast as I can, just so you can get the basis of why bears are doing really well right now, and at least for the beginning of the expansion, we will be doing well, even with the nerfs, which we will talk about. So first off, just over the talent build, Brambles, even after the nerf, it's still appropriately good. It's nice. Enjoying it. The damage off of the bark skin is absolutely nada. It's shit. Definitely not worth taking survival of the fittest for, but still a good passive talent, which is kind of a staple of this whole build. It's a lot of passive things happening behind the scenes, so you can just worry about doing your damage, concentrating on your cooldown usage and the regen usage as well, and just doing more damage. So next up, Intimidating Roar, just because it turns Incapacitating Roar into a fear that is not broken by damage. It's really good. Really enjoying it. It is affected by the DR though, so just keep that in mind. Balance Affinity, there are some cases like in the raid where I'll take Feral, but for most of the time, balance mainly just to make sure I'm hitting everything to keep threat on everything. Typhoon, usually for whenever I need to kite. I haven't really found a practical use for the other two yet. In the dungeons that we have, Typhoon is there for a lot of mobs that can't be stunned. They can be Typhoon, like a lot of them. So Typhoon is an extremely valuable tool right now. Still using GG, thankfully. I love the talent. They did nerf the proc chance by 2%. It's at 5% now. It's still really good, especially for AoE. The dungeons is great for damage and threat and rage gem to just pump out those iron furs, and help keep yourself alive, obviously, to keep doing more damage. So next up is Earth Warden. Now I didn't try this until recently. A little shout out to my theory crafting friend, and who is always questioning me, asking me the right questions I should be asking myself. So Lilith, aka Evelina. So thank you again, for chatting with me about all this. But Earth Warden is fucking awesome, in combo with the Brambles, it's really good. I'd say, like, it's pretty high on my healing. So like, look, right now, that last one I did, that was like half of the dungeon, and Earth Warden did 28.7% of my healing. It absorbed 1.6 mil damage, and with the priest buff, I have like 202k health. Without it, I'm at 185k. And Earth Warden by itself hit for 1.6 mil, so that's, dude, it's strong even on live right now, because you shouldn't really be using your regen until you need it, and if you need it on live right now, it'll be buffed. So maybe start getting used to it on live and just get into the feel of just having another great passive thing. I'm using it on Mythic Argus right now, and there's a lot of healing. It's real nice. But, so, anyways, that's that. Rend and Tear, still my favorite for that row. Pulverize, dude, I'm not worried about an extra 3%. Like, it's nice, but, like, in Mythic Plus, Rend and Tear is just the way to go for overall damage, threat reduction, all of this. So, some people are talking about Lunar Beam. It still sucks in my opinion. Just not good. Not as good as Renditaire, so by far. So those are the talents. Now as far as the gear, it's pretty straightforward. The current setup that I'm using now is probably going to be kind of your cookie cutter build to aim for when you're starting off, at least before you get any gear from the raid. We're going to start with the helm. The traits on this: swipe deals more damage to enemies affected by thrash. Earthlink, which they did heavily nerf, is on there. A cycling amount of agility that works kind of like the mage's incanter's flow. I think it just goes up and down, up and down. I have 2 of these on my shoulders as well, which is the only thing that makes it good and worth it, is having 2 of them. And the bottom row on this is just I heal for a small amount once every 6 seconds when I take damage. I have 2 of these. It makes it okay. It's the best choice in the road for just like passive use. And then onto the shoulders, Thrash's direct damage has a 50% chance to grant you agility for 12 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So that's 50% chance per Thrash target hit. So if you have a big old pack, you're probably going to get 5 stacks on the pull. Really good one, especially if you have 2, which I do, just based on how the traits are set up now after the change and the nerfs. So yeah, and then Earthlink again on there. Side note on the agility proc with the Thrash, agility gives dodge as well as your crit, and that's kind of another big point of this build, which we'll touch on in a moment. And then another small heal once every 6 seconds trait. And on my chest, another Thrash trait, which is, you know, good. The best one that I've seen in the rows so far based on the chest pieces that we have available. That could change, so it is still in the beta, so all of this info is subject to change, but it's likely not many more changes will be made, especially after this last recent overhaul they did on the 19th. So get this song going again because it's been annoying. But yeah, so the extra agility and the dodge that you get off of this helps with your threat, your mitigation, your general survivability. Like, just, it's great. And it's, again, another passive thing happening behind the scenes. You don't really have to manage or worry about. It just happens as you're doing your general priority order, because Bear is not a rotation. That we will be talking about in the guide that will be out just before BFA launch, so we'll have the guides out for the Guardian Druid and for how to tank each of the dungeons on normal, heroic, and mythic, all in one video for each one. So I'm gonna try to do as many of the guides as I can in keys, but no promises there. It just depends on what's happening here on the beta. So and that's it for Azerite traits. The weapon itself right now is from Ulduar. It's great crit main stat verse. Crit being the main point of this, and the main point of what you're trying to get on all of your gear is crit. I'm gemming for crit, enchanting for crit where I can. I'm gearing as much as I can just for crit. Leg is really good, yep. Boots are good. My ring is good. I got a fat verse avoidance ring that I pretty much had to use because based on the ring that I had, so still good. The other 2 main points and the last points I'll make on this are the trinkets. Right now, Lustrous Golden Plumage drops in King's Rest off the first boss. Agility with a fat verse use on a 2-minute cooldown. I have that on the keybind that I actually had my artifact on live, so it's kind of a nice filler to kind of like help transition me into all of this. Still having some kind of an offensive cooldown, so this is it for now. There's another trinket in Motherlode that is not bad at all. It's mastery with a even fatter agility proc for 15 seconds. But we can't zone into Mother Lobe because it says you can't zone in if you're not 120. And I'm 120, but you know. And the other trinket, Harlan's Loaded Dice. Now this drops from the last boss and Freehold. Base agility, and then your attacks and abilities have a chance to roll the dice, gaining a random combo of mastery, haste, and crit for 15 seconds. Another thing that just adds on to the dodge, because you do get all 3 stats. It's the roll, the same as the rogue ability. The roll is just depends on how much of each buff you get, so you always get all 3. I sit at 24% crit right now and 22% dodge. With buffs and things rolling and just generally in combat, I'll rotate between like 24 to 26% dodge, which is good. For the gear level that we're at, it's good. And that's where the crit and the agility stacking comes in handy. More threat, more dodge, just more threat because of the crits, and just more straight, just a lot of fucking attack power from the agility that you're also trying to stack. If anything in the stats right now, it's crit and then verse or mastery and then haste. We just can't get enough haste on the gear now to really make any kind of a dramatic difference. I will be getting a haste set together, like I'm trying to now, actually, to like really see what it can do. But I feel like I'm not going to really be able to make enough of an impact yet with the haste, just based on the gear that we have available now. But I will be experimenting with that as soon as I can. But that's pretty much it, guys. Like, dude, Bear's looking great, dude. It feels good. It's smooth. It's got a natural flow to it. It'll be an easy transition if you've been playing Bear, especially in higher keys. If you've been playing Bear, especially the GG build, you will fall right into place here. So it's going to be real comfy, real smooth transition gameplay wise. So feel confident with that, feel happy with that. You get used to not having the artifact real quick, dude. And in all reality, we've only had the artifact for 1 expansion. Like, my point of view coming from Legion is like, alright, so I just don't have the artifact anymore. I went years before this expansion now without having an artifact, so like, don't stress, dude. Like, it'll be okay. It's still good. Just relax, please. Bear is doing well, even after the nerfs. And the reason they did the nerfs, especially to Earthlink and Brambles, is because they scale really well. Like now, even on live, dude. It's buffed by agility and versatility, so you know, as it is now on live, like the more gear you get, the stronger it will be, and the base absorb is definitely stronger. It's gonna scale. It's definitely better than it is on live, as far as the absorbs go with that. And one last note actually about the cooldowns. The reason I'm enjoying the Earth Warden and the Brambles and all the dodge so much is because it is, keep in mind, it's the beginning of the expansion, so everybody is low on everything, like low health, low armor, low dodge, parry, block, like whatever you use to live, like you don't have a lot of it, especially now. Like, one gentleman that I've seen a video of on YouTube rolling into a mythic dungeon like sub 915 and then complaining about how he can't live and he can't generate threat and all of this, and I'm like, yeah, dude, because you're like 30 item levels below the content that you're doing, dude. Like, so I'm not saying anything bad, I'm just saying keep in mind the context of the content that you're watching. Like, just if it looks like they're having trouble, look at what they're doing. Like, look at what level dungeon they're doing, what dungeon it actually is, if they're taking a lot of magic damage, like what their gear is. Like, there's a lot of factors at play here that deserve to be looked at and examined, instead of just having knee-jerk reactions to things that probably aren't too big of a deal. Especially with the threat, man, like threat threat trouble aren't words in my vocabulary even coming in here now. So the Mythic +6 Waycrest that I did, that was using the Incarnation Mangle Extends regen build, and it's not exactly ideal. This build is ideal. I will be doing another Waycrest as soon as I possibly can on a key. It's kind of a hard one to find, but as soon as I get one, I will be there, and I will have it up on the channel. But things are going well, dude. Feels good, feels great. Nothing to stress about. Again, you'll have a smooth transition, especially if you've already been playing with GG. You'll have a smooth transition into BFA and moving forward. So that's it. I tried to keep it as short as I could, but thank you again. Thank you all for all of your support. The sponsors on the channel, the hosts on Twitch, the donations, the patrons, dude, like all of you guys. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate y'all so much. We also broke 2,000 subscribers this week, dude. So just fucking awesome. So cool. So thank you so much, dude. You guys are awesome. So let's keep the conversation going. The link to the Discord will be down below. That is there. And just swing by the stream, dude. I'm here to answer your questions. Join the conversation, man. The last thing that I'll say is actually so the healers that I've run with so far, I've mostly played with demon hunters and bears. I've heard DKs are having a little trouble just because of like the rune regeneration rate and their haste, like obviously because we are at low gear levels. So some people just aren't going to scale well. Things are going to be more challenging, but don't look at it as a matter of can't or won't. Look at it as a challenge to be overcome, a puzzle to be solved, just figuring things out. They've nerfed bears twice now, dude, and I have worked my way around it twice and figured out a new build that works well. I did the 10 key in that without really any survivability trouble to any severe extent. Like, it was a challenge because it was a 10 and it was like 30 item levels above what I was at, like where my gear actually was. So same case with the gentleman who had the video, the dungeon that he wasn't ready for. But you know, the gear gap between him and the dungeon he did and me and the dungeon I did, the gap between mine was probably a little smaller just because I was already had a decent amount of stats, but was just doing something that was a bit like just harder, but I was just more geared, so just more able to deal with the things that were happening because of the amount of stats that I have. So he was just in a different situation, but it's doable, guys. It's doable. It's working well. I'm gonna stop talking now. So thank you again for all of your support so much. Thank you again for breaking the 2K. Links to support the channel and all of that are in the description down below. And I will see y'all on the stream very soon. Thank you again, and whatever. Bye. Good night. I'm going to bed.